Hi guys, this is Guardian and Chip's Adventures. I'm Chip. Guardian's gone off somewhere to sleep. So I've just, as you well know, if you know me well, you know that I've been campaigning since the coronavirus started, and we all got told on the 31st of June that I've been I've been trying my very, very best, tweeting and everything about service dogs, tweeting to Matt Hancock because, you know, he's the health minister. Nothing. Then I tweeted the other day to Boris Johnson and said, look, you need to give me a good enough answer why you're not using service dogs, right? So now they are, but they're not saying who said it. Obviously they wouldn't. I'm autistic with learning difficulties. I'm not educated. I'm not a professor. I'm not a doctor. How dare someone like me have a plan? How dare someone like me figure out something that quick? Right? So they're not going to say who it is. Because can you imagine if the government turn around and say, oh, by the way, this was an autistic person with learning difficulties, mental health problems, anxiety disorders, who has a service dog, who has kept on us since January the 31st. And, you know, we think it's a good idea. And our scientists and our doctors and our, you know, our professionals and even the medical training, dog training centres didn't think of it. They're not going to admit that. You know, I'm autistic with learning difficulties. We all know what the government think of people with mental health, don't we? Because at the end of the day, they turn around and cut us in half, all our stuff in half to make social services in that struggle. So at the end of the day, you know, they're not going to admit that a person they've cut and made suffer throughout these years to get care and stuff like that be right and actually could save. Secondly, they're now saying they're only going to do service dog for airports. What the heck are they talking about? They've got gold in their hands, right? They've got a chance, right? Take, for instance, I'm going to give you an instance now, and I know I'm bitching about this, but I've had enough now. I've had enough of all the crap. I really have, right? I've had enough of being ignored all this time, then them trying to get professors and doctors and the trainers of medical dogs to take it as it's their idea and their thought process, and it was them that did it. You know what I mean? So I've had enough, so now I'm going to bitch, and I don't care, right? Sue me. I'd love to see them try, because I can prove beyond reasonable doubt the amount of times I've said this, and I can prove that they could, the service dogs could save not only like people from coronavirus, but they could have saved a lot of people from in the homes. They could have saved the coronavirus ever coming in the first place. If the government had just started supporting the ESA, started supporting the RSPCA, started supporting, putting more laws down to protect animals, start supporting all these teams like AD UK, Assistance Dog UK, all that lot. Right? I'm not having this. They cut mental health in half. They make everyone struggle, and the people like us struggle. We have a good idea, and they won't admit that someone like us could actually come up with an idea like that. When they've got top scientists, they've got the dog trainers didn't even try. And now all of a sudden it's all over the news. And all they're saying is, it's a good idea, it's a good idea. Go on then, tell them who did it. Was it someone who was educated? No. Was it someone who was in your group? No. Was it someone who was like a scientist? No. No, it was a member of the public that you cut the benefits for. A member of the public who's autistic with learning difficulties, has medical conditions and needs care and can't get it because you cut all the provisions that my social worker and everyone else and my care workers need to help me and give me the best life I can have in society. And many people like me. And now you're saying that you're going to use service dogs just to go on aeroplanes. What are you thinking? I'm sorry, normally I would shut up because a lot of people in my life have always took my ideas and gone and opened shops and things like that and been rich. But I'm not sitting back and letting them abuse this. You got to give me a good enough reason, government, why you're not going to use service dogs to get kids back into school, to make teachers feel safe, to make parents feel safe. You're arguing over who's right and wrong. Listen to what they're saying. The education people are saying to you, I need evidence, I need proof. A service dog, one of them service dogs, will give them the evidence and proof they need. They will need that evidence and proof. I guarantee you, if you went to the Teachers Association and said, look, if I can prove that our dogs that we're training can not only detect coronavirus quickly, faster and in real time, but also is 99.999% positive that they will do it. So we're going to put them in the schools. We're going to, before you go into school, you'll be sniffed by the dog. If you show signs or the dogs alert us, then you'll be pulled to one side. You give us your name and address. You'll be told to isolate. We will come up and see you. We'll write you a letter and tell you what your next steps are. And then people who volunteer can go to that person's house and say, right, what do you need from the shops? What do you need from, like, doctors, medical stuff? What do you need delivered? And can work in that basis. That means all the kids could go to school, all the teachers could go to school, and while they're teaching, the school doesn't have to be interrupted. They don't have to do the big spaces and stuff like that and get a 2-year-old to not talk to the friend more than 2 meters. They'll be able to go into school, relax, learn, teach, chill out, knowing the fact they haven't got the virus in that school. There's your answer. Give the parents and the teachers and their lot, give them that answer. If this service dogs, of course it's going to work. My service dog saved my life from having pneumonia and stuff like that. Of course it's going to work. It can't fail. Because a dog is only as good as its trainer, like a student is only as good and as smart and as clever as its teacher. Remember that. The only way a service dog will fail in what it does is if the teacher fails the dog in teaching it. Right? So, what are we going to do about it? Oh, let's only do the best thing since you've listened to me now. Let's do the best thing. Why not? I tell you what we'll do. We'll just do the airports. No, I'm not having it. Do the schools. Do the homes. Do the care homes. Do the hospitals first. Get the coronavirus under control. Then open the bloody airports. Why open the airports first? You don't need to do that. Don't let anyone else in this country until we bloody sort out everyone here and protect everyone here. Opening the airports because you've got a service dog on there, it's not going to work for the rest of us. Why are you doing that? You're not making any sense. Why wouldn't you put the groundwork in first? Get as many service dogs on the ground first. And I don't mean just in London because you lot are in London. I mean all the hospitals, all the care homes. Get service dogs to go down. Check them all out. Isolate the ones that have got them. Help them. Take a service dog into the hospitals. Everyone's saying cancer patients won't come in because they're scared to catch the coronavirus and die. Well, I don't bloody blame them. But I guarantee you, if you turn around and told them there's a service dog that sniffs you coming in, sniffs you coming out, and we wouldn't be allowed in here if we had the coronavirus, I guarantee everyone will come back. I guarantee if you asked them, would you feel safe if a service dog could sniff out the coronavirus early? Would you be safe to come back in and get your treatments? Ask a person, would you go to A&E and not be scared, knowing the fact that a service dog has not only sniffed the ambulance service and found them innocent, so the ambulance service that's coming to you every moment they come out, they're always sniffed, and the service dog is detecting nothing, so they're clean and safe. Would you feel safe to call an ambulance? Of course you would. So why the government just sticking it to bloody... It doesn't make any sense. Why aeroplanes? Keep them shut down. Don't let anyone else in this country. Put the service dogs to work properly. Do the potential. This is what bugs me. The service dogs never get their full potential, what they can do. You put one service dog in a care home. Let them go around the care home. Not only will the service dog make everyone else feel happy and more content, but the fact is, that service dog could tell you in real time who's got it, who hasn't got it, who's infected, who isn't infected. And then that way, you can go in, sort it, get the right PPE equipment to the right people. They wouldn't even need PPE. Don't you understand? PPE is so rare. Doctors can't get it. People can't get it. But a service dog, you could train a service dog up. It'll not cost nowhere near what PPE would. And they wouldn't need PPE like the amount they need. They would just need the normal amount. Because if there's no coronavirus with the patient and the doctors and nurses, they won't catch it, will they? It makes sense. People want to open their restaurants. The businesses are going to hell. What's stopping you opening mobile service dog units where before they go to work, they register their business, and before they go to work, they get sniffed and all their people get looked over. And then if they're cleared, they can open that night. And then any people go to the restaurant, go to the mobile place first, put it in the middle where all the restaurants are in town centres and stuff. They can walk in, a couple of people can walk in, get tested. No, you're free, you can go into the restaurant. Start off the restaurant business. What the heck? What do you need? A diagram? Not only do you want me to give you the idea of the service dogs and how they went, now you want me to give you an idea, a diagram of what to do. What the bloody hell are you thinking about opening airplanes? I'm sorry, but I wouldn't want to travel abroad. Not that I do anyway. I don't travel. I like to stay in Britain. Britain has the most beautifulest places to me in the world. So I would stay in Britain. I've never travelled, never want to travel abroad, to be fair. But you're going to use the most fantastic golden opportunity to not only have this coronavirus, but to get it under full control, to stop it going to our care homes, to stop it going into our hospitals, to stop it going into our businesses. You're going to squander all that just to put them in an airport. I understand that. Once it's under control here, then you can control who comes in and out on the airports and the borders. But don't forget people coming from ships and that as well. And we've got borders where people, not only you just heard on the news, not only we've got people coming in, running in on borders. We've got to check them out as well because we're putting them into those places. How can you just say you're just going to do an airport? What the bloody hell? That can't control it. You've already blocked the airport. You don't need to get people coming in and out just to open the airports to get you money. It's not going to work that way. You want the economy started, use service dogs. Use service dog mobiles in each city centre. And open the city centre stores and that. And as people come past, they get sniffed by dogs. Yes, you can go. No, you can't. You've got it. Name, address, isolate. And they bring their ID with them. So that way, they're not going to give you fake ID. Give them proper ID. They asked for the names, address, and that. Say you're self-isolated, and then you've got the names and addresses of people who's got the virus. That then you can give correct information to, and say, right, look, you've got it. We don't know what stage. We're now going to test you. We're going to test your family. Stay 14 days. If you need anything, here's a number. If you need volunteers to come and get your medicines for you, if you need volunteers to come and do this, if you need volunteers to come and do that, then we can get it to you. It will be a hell of a lot cheaper doing it that way. You want schools to open? Put service dogs on schools. Let them sniff the teachers. Let them sniff the school. And if the school's free and the teachers are free and then the students are free, then everyone's going to be happy. No one has to do anything. No one has to separate and put them 2 meters apart. And that, why would they need to? Because the service dog, it'll be 99.999% that there is no coronavirus. You want it to drop. That's the way it's got to drop. That's how quick it'll drop. You want the businesses to open? Use service dogs. Not sit them in the bloody... They can do a lot more than sitting a couple of service dogs in the airports. What the heck? We need to get it under control in our care homes. We need to get it under control in the hospitals. We need to get it under control in society first. That's the main priority first. And I don't care if you think I'm a lunatic, and I don't care if you think I'm bitching, because I am. Because I'm sitting back and I'm watching you squander the most fantastic, the most cleverest dogs. And I'm watching you squander it just on because you want the airports to open. Coronavirus dogs. Fair enough, call them that. But they're still service dogs. They're still servicing. You're squandering potential away. Why do you want to put us into a deeper recession? I don't understand. Why don't you want the hospitals to be safe? Why don't you want the schools to be safe? Why don't you want the schools to go back without having to interrupt the children? I don't understand. Why would you tell a 5-year-old, let's sit 2 months apart? Oh, by the way, you can't share colouring pencils. By the way, you can't share this. Why can't they? If you put a service dog in there, they can, because they won't have the coronavirus. Because walking into that school, they'll have the confidence of a service dog. You're making no sense. Let's put them in airports. How's that going to help? It will help in the future, and it would have helped in January. But it doesn't help now. All the airports are closed. It doesn't help. You can train enough service dogs in 2 weeks to cover the UK. It's not just one team. That team can train other trainers to do it. ESA, ADUK. All of them, all the service dogs around the United Kingdom. Not just London, not just the posh ones who can afford to do it. They need, all of them need a government grant. All of them need support. All of us need support. Secondly, emotional support dogs are the most vitalist thing that anyone can have with mental health problems, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, loneliness, forgetfulness. There's so much that an emotional support dog can do. They can help us go shopping. They can help us relax in society a bit more and become more productive in society. They can it's an unknown limit what a service dog could do, especially an emotional support dog. And you're saying, oh my God, when the coronavirus is over, the mental health is going to be so... I mean, it takes a year to get yourself to see a psychiatrist. Then it takes God knows how long to get a CPN nurse. So in the meantime, instead of backing people up and saying to people, ring this person, ring... Do you really think, if you're depressed, do you really honest to God think that I'm going to pick up a phone and talk to someone? If I'm really that bad? No, because nobody cares. That's the way you feel when you're in that mindset. But if you give us a service dog, give the RSPCA some money to come down and check on the service dogs, make sure there's rules in place about having a service dog and mental health. I understand that some people's mental health is so severe they can't use service dogs. Then you put them as priority. But an emotional support dog will emotionally support someone so good. I have had one. And believe me, I've been through some very, very bad times. And I'm still alive. But I'm not sitting here any longer watching you squander the most fantastic idea, and then all you're going to do is put them into aeroplanes to get them started again. No, it's train stations, it's the hospitals, it's the boats, it's the borderlines, it's everywhere. Everywhere a human is trying to get into the country. It's the hospitals where the doctors and nurses are dying because they don't know if the patient they're dealing with has got coronavirus or not. But if the patient doesn't want to go into hospital in case they get the coronavirus from the doctors and nurses, put a service dog in A&E, put a service dog and let the doctors get sniffed and the nurses as they come in and out of work. It doesn't evade them. It doesn't stop them in any way. It doesn't delay anything in any way like a test would. You don't have to stick great big things down your throat. I'm telling you, look into it is all I'm asking you to do. Look into this. You're squandering such a good thing. It's unbelievable, and I'm not going to sit back and allow this to happen. You can't just put them in airports. When the coronavirus is wiped out or it's under control, then yeah, fine. Put them in the borders and the aeroplanes and that. But at the moment, we need them here. We need them on ground zero. Service dogs save lives. And it is true. Emotional support dogs save lives. But I'm not sitting here and I'm not listening to it anymore. I'm telling you now. You're going to do so much damage. The economy is damaged enough. You want them kids to go back to school. Then put the service dog. When the service dog's fully trained and it's proven, you can go, here's the statistics, here's how much percentage the dog is right and calculated and correct, and here's the teachers would be made up because they won't have to wear all this gear, masks and stuff like that. Do you know what it's like for a child who's scared of people in masks? How are you going to get that child into school and trust the teacher ever again? How about that emotional distress? They see their teacher, but they see the mask first. What do you think a child that is scared of people in masks is going to do? What do you think it's going to do to their mental health? What do you think it's going to do for their school, for their future schooling? It's going to mentally cripple them and emotionally cripple them. But if you put a service dog at the beginning, the sniff dog, or whatever you want to call them, corona dogs, whatever you want to call them, they're still a service dog. You want to put them in the schools, gates, the teachers come in, they get sniffed, they're fine, they go ahead. If they're not, you give the name, address, they go home, you sort them out another day and carry on doing it that way. That way, the teachers are happy and feel safe. The children don't need to, they can play together and it doesn't have to interrupt their lives. And the people and the children who are infected will be quarantined and then the government can help them. And that way, if they do get it, I heard, don't know whether it's true or not because I'm hearing so many different things, that they can do an immune suppressant. So if they get the coronavirus early enough by a service dog detecting it, then they can, if they see the immune system starting to build up, they can suppress it earlier, which I'm sure a doctor will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure then that would work. If you get it early enough to stop it building or whatever it does in the body, then you know you won't get as sick. People won't die as much. People won't need ventilators because the doctors and nurses and care workers would have it under control, surely. And I'm sorry to all my fans for ranting and raving because I don't normally do that, but I've had enough. I've had enough of the government. Seems to get good ideas and then seem to throw it away. They seem to get like fantastic things that could be sorted, and for some unknown reason they just don't want to do it, and I don't understand, and nobody's answering my questions. I'm tweeting and nobody's even giving me an answer back. Personally, I'm waiting for whoever it is to turn around and say it was their idea, that it was them who thought of it. I'm just waiting for that. I will sue their asses for everything they've got because I've got so much evidence that I've been saying this. on podcast, on Twitter, on YouTube, on everything. I'm just waiting. So far, they're being very smart, not saying anything. But I ain't having a professor or a scientist or a trainer or anything like that try and take the credit for this. The credit goes to service dogs. That's who the credit goes to, service dogs. And the credit goes to their trainers. And then you can find out, phone them up. They'll tell you. No government funding whatsoever. They have to do their own funding. Because the government won't support them. Have never supported ESA or any of the foundations that do service dogs. Not bothered. Well, now you're going to have to be because they're on the front line. They're just as important as doctors, nurses, MPs. They're just as important as everybody. School teachers, cleaners, they're just as important as everyone else, and you're going to have to accept that fact that the service animals are just as important and should be treated exactly the same. They're on the front line. This is Chip and Guardians Adventures. I'm sorry I ranted a raid, but I couldn't take it no more, just sitting back watching them. And as soon as they said, we're just going to do airplanes, that was me done. I weren't going to have that. So, 1, get them into our hospitals. 2, get the service dogs into the schools so that the kids can go back to school without seeing their teachers in masks, which could probably cause more mental health and more emotional distress than not going to school at all, and trying to separate them from their friends and not understand why they can't colour with their friends. 3, keep the teachers safe, keep the teachers' families safe, keep the other children safe that they're going to get in contact with. 4, if you want to open up restaurants and stuff like that, have a mobile service dog unit in town cities. Open the towns up first and have like the pubs and clubs open. Have a service dog where they have to walk past the mobile system, put the police in place to police it. Whatever you want to do, figure it out. And then if the dogs are sniffing and you're safe and you haven't got the coronavirus, you can go on and enjoy your night and stuff like that. And if you have got the coronavirus and it was detected early, you're safe in the knowledge of knowing that they're going to get you early, they're going to help you early, they're going to suppress your immune system so you don't get that sick and you've got a better chance of survival. That's what you get if you're found with coronavirus. You're going to be safe, secure, and they'll be able to concentrate on you more because others will be going about their business. It means more volunteers can come and help you out and help what you need and what you know what I'm saying? Because it'll free up. Because they'll allow others to go out because they won't contract the coronavirus if they haven't got it. So they can go out, open the businesses, everything like that. It's not just for the aeroplanes. It ain't. And I know why you want to open it up, so you can get as much people in this country as possible until we've got no room to breathe, walk, or anything. That's what you're trying to do. Take all our farms away and stick up high-rises as much as you can to get as much people on this small island as possible. Let's get people to go abroad. Do you think people want to go abroad? I think half the people's too scared to go abroad at the minute. Let's go to ground zero. Let's call this ground zero. The communities, ground zero. The care homes. The hospitals. Nurses and doctors' safety. Let's not just squander another good idea and control it and compact it and just stick it into aeroplanes. What about the borders? What about the ships? What about our hospitals? Where the coronavirus can set off, there's parts. Do what my care worker did, right? I had a care worker and he said everything goes into boxes. So to talk to people, you have to put things in boxes. So box 1, what's the most important what a service dog can do? So if the government thinks the most important thing is get the children in school, well, surely to God, then that should be box 1. Important, get teachers and children back into school. If it's not, and the economy is the most important to the government, then they should put that as box 1 on ground zero. Let's get the economy open with service dogs. And in the meantime, it can leave the scientists to concentrate on getting a vaccination. A lot more people will go into hospital and go to their doctors if they knew that when they get there, there'll be a service dog there that's sniffing, or coronavirus dog, or whatever you want to call it, that's going to sniff them and tell them if they've got it or not. And if they haven't, when they walk through that surgery or the A&E or the department, or see an ambulance turn up, they're not going to be scared, oh my God, this might be my last time. They're going to sit there and go, well, them ambulance people are safe, because they wouldn't have been allowed out if they weren't, because they've been sniffed by the sniffer dog. And I'm safe, because when I go into hospital, as you go through the doors, there'll be a service dog there, a corona dog, or whatever you want to call them. It will be there, and they will sniff you as you go past. And if they show no signs, you're going to be happy, because 1, you're going to know whatever is wrong with you, it's not the coronavirus. 2, you're in a free environment of coronavirus free, because the service dog is there. Just like an emotional support dog, you're going to feel safe, secure, and you're going to be able to let the doctors and nurses do what they need to do. You're going to feel more calm and comfortable, which every doctor tells me when I'm in A&E. The more calmer you stay, the more in control you are of what you're going through. The more they can help you. Please do not stop at aeroplanes and just squander this good idea. Please don't. Please don't do it. And I'm asking you, if you do that, why are you doing it when you could do so much? You could put this in what? 2 months, you could have the coronavirus under control. You could have all the people that's got it, you could have them in isolation, feeling good, feeling secure, knowing the fact that you've got immune suppressant, that a doctor and nurses can sort this out quicker, because they're not worrying that someone who's got hay fever and got a high temperature could have the coronavirus, and then wait 2 or 3 days, which is putting everyone on edge. And when you're poorly, the last thing you want to do is sitting there worrying about a result that can't come through in 2 or 3 days, when a service dog can just come and sniff you, boom, you've got it or you haven't. Then at least you know what you're dealing with, and at least the nurses and doctors know what they're dealing with. At least the cleaners know what they're dealing with. You can walk into a shop, go into a chippy, knowing the fact that that's safe, because that would not be open, and then people